Alright, hello and welcome back, Milan fans. Just wanted to make a little video here just as we are kind of rounding up the last little bit of the summer transfer window. We are in the last little portion of it. Next few days we'll end it essentially, and just kind of wanted to go over the links of what's happening, my personal take on it. I'm not too happy with how the window has ended, and I kind of want to describe a little bit of why. Most of it is going to be in this picture here, and it's basically from where we started this window and then where we have eventually ended up on. Firstly, I do want to, I'm not sure if people know who all these players are. Basically, you have Berardi there, you have Hakim Ziyech there, you have Nikola Vlasic, you have Yacine Adli, and you have Junior Macias, those ones. All people that we have been linked with. But basically, left side is describing a lot of the top names we've been linked with. We've been linked with guys like Isco, James Rodriguez, and obviously those three. You've got Berardi, Vlasic, Ziyech, Jonathan, Ikone. There's been a ton of top names or people who myself, as well as a lot of different Milan fans, really wanted here to kind of bring us to that next level. And then, of course, after all these names were touted, I believe even Pioli personally requested Berardi, but of course this has not happened because we bulked at the price, which I truthfully think if you really want to improve, truly want to improve, then you've got to spend on at least a couple players. I expected us to do that and maybe make at least one marquee signing. There's no way I expected us to do both attacking mid and right wing, and everybody knows those are the two spots we really needed to improve going into next season. And the sad thing is we're not getting either. We're getting neither of them are going to be a top-notch player. Neither of them that we're going to be picking up are going to be ready to go prime players, which is exactly what we wanted. Anybody who's followed my channel knows that my top pick by far was Domenico Berardi because he is ready to go. He's ready to leave Sassuolo. He's in his prime right now and has many great years to give. He is a free kick taker. He's a goal threat from playing on the right wing. He addresses our weakest spot, in my opinion, which is our right wing. And he is captain of his team, and he is a leader on the pitch. It literally checks all the boxes. I believe that his price was around 30 million, initially 40 down to 30. But there was talks recently that they will be open to a loan move now. So why not take a loan with an option to buy? Yes, it might be a more expensive loan, 5, 6, 7 million, 8 million maybe. Take it and then have a decent option of like an extra 25 million in there. You're probably going to exercise it because Berardi's been great in Serie A for several seasons now. I thought that was just a really dumb deal to pass up on. And it's not like we passed up on him for some great talents or if we were going after Ziyech or Vlasic or any one of the other ones that I've kind of named here. Instead, we've just gotten worse and worse and worse with our talent pool. Now, this past week here, we have signed Yacine Adli, who you'll see pictured in the top right there. I have absolutely nothing against Adli. I actually think, to be honest, that he is a very talented player, and I think it's a smart signing. But it's a future signing. This is not the signing we needed to take Milan to that Champions level team. We just qualified for Champions League barely, literally within the last game of the season last year. Prior to that, when we had Gattuso, we missed it by one game. So we've been close, right on the border. We just slid in. So now you have to cement that spot. And how you do that, you keep what you have and you increase a little bit. In my opinion, it is much more important to bring in a couple quality players than just bring in a ton of average players for depth. Because then eventually those quality players who are battling for the starting spot are going to become your depth, or at least the person who they replace will become your depth, and now you have quality depth. That's how the top teams do it. Milan had enough guys, and I think we made some improper moves, but it is what it is. The outgoing moves of both Donnarumma and Çalhanoğlu, I did not like the Donnarumma move. I am totally fine with the Çalhanoğlu move because I never liked him. But either way, should have never lost them on a free. And for those reasons that we lost them on a free, we didn't have the funds, as they said, to go for these types of better players that actually would have given us that boost. Now, we actually would have had enough funds, no matter what, to go for at least one of them. But Elliott sticks with their motto of keeping it super, super cheap. They only buy young people, except you'll see this very last exception here. And I just really don't like their model because now they're cutting off the salaries way too low. And yes, I don't want to pay players outrageous salaries, but at the same time, when the players get to that important level, they get to that world-class level where we're trying to get our young players to. When they get there, if we're not willing to offer them that top-notch world-class pay, they're going to leave. and that's exactly what happened with Donnarumma. Çalhanoğlu is not world class. That's an isolated incident. You can forget about him. But it's happening with Kessie, and it's happening with Romagnoli. Now, Romagnoli may not be world class because he had an off season last season, but he's been one of the best defenders in Serie A for years already. So I'm going to give him a free pass on that half bad season last year. He's still a top class center back. Maybe not world class, but definitely top class. Either way, Donnarumma now, Kessie, Romagnoli. We're not willing to budge on that and give them a top salary. Yes, they make a great salary, but other teams are going to offer them more by far, and we're not willing to do it. So when the players reach that level, we're basically saying to them, you're gone. That's a terrible model to have, and even worse, we're not even getting profits from selling them, and that's crushing our ability to go after these kind of top players that I'm listing here on the left side of the screen here. So quite frustrating. And now we're going to end up with not only Adli, who, as I said, is talented. I like him as a signing, but he's definitely a future signing. I mean, he's even remaining at Bordeaux for a year, so he's not helping us this year, nor do I think he would have helped us that much this year. But then the second one here, by far the most disappointing, we're going after Junior Macias. Now, I have, once again, nothing against Junior Macias. From all reports, he's a really awesome guy, a very genuine guy, which is great. I have nothing against his character, nothing against him. I actually think he's a pretty decent player for what he is. But he's 30, so he's not young. He's not top class, world class. So it's not like we're bringing in a Olivier Giroud, who's a world class player, who's a little older, who's going to help out there. Even a Josip Ilicic would have been a better option there, who's older, but you know that he's pretty class and he knows the league well, and he bangs in a bunch of goals. Junior Macias has a couple goals to his name. He's a standout on a really crappy Crotone team. Fine. Great. He'll probably be a little bit better than Castillejo, but he's not going to light the league on fire. This is the exact type of move that we should not make because it signals our intentions to just remain the same. Our biggest problem last year is when Ibra went out, we had no more goal-scoring threats. Well, now we have Giroud, which is great. We can kind of rotate there. But we had no actual goal-scoring threats from the wings. Salamakers can barely bang in a goal. Rebic was hot or cold. When he's hot, he's amazing. When he's not, he doesn't do anything. Leao was very hit or miss as well. Most of his season was bad. So besides that center forward, we don't have a goal-scoring threat. And that's why I liked Berardi, because he offers that to you. Plus, our attacking mid spot never really got that much for us too. And I don't think Diaz is going to be there yet. He might surprise me. But I just don't think he's going to be that goal-scoring threat yet. So I really do not like this signing because it signals our intent to not really improve and to not really go for it and cement a Champions League spot and to try to do well in Champions League. Again, nothing against Junior Macias, but in my opinion, what we really should have done is if we wanted to keep it super, super cheap, but get a guy who's versatile, who is talented, who knows the league well, which is all these things that people are saying why we got Macias, why not go for Mattia Zaccagni? He waited out the entire transfer period for Milan, turned down Napoli for Milan. Cheap price, under 10 million, very affordable, in his prime, getting better every season, and super versatile. He can play attacking mid, left wing, right wing, and second striker. Literally fills our attacking gaps in one person. And yet, Lazio is about to pick him up for 8 million, plus 2 million in bonuses if he gets it, so from 8 to 10 million. And yet, AC Milan is not willing to do this, when we were willing to spend 15 on Romain Faivre, or 13 rather. I don't see why we aren't willing to pay a perfect price for a player that fits us very, very well and wants to be here. It seems like a no-brainer. I just really don't get it, and I don't see why Macias is the option. I don't think he's that much better than Samu. I don't think he's that much better than Florenzi. And I don't think he's better than Salamakers. So what is the purpose here? Is it because he can play attacking mid if you need him to? He can play right wing if you need him to? I don't understand. If you're going to get a right wing, we don't need depth. We don't need another solid depth player who's going to be pretty good. We need a starter. In my opinion, Salamakers is not that guy. He can start and he's solid. He works hard. He does good for the team. But if you're going to get a player, get an actual quality player. Otherwise, what's the point? Yes, if you're going to basically be replacing Castillejo with Macias, that's fine. But that's a really minimal upgrade. It's essentially a lateral move. I don't see that as anything positive for us. Again, my criticism is less on Macias himself and more on the management here. Oddly, not even going to be playing with us this year. It's not even like he would have been the guy and ready to go in that world-class attacking mid or center mid signing. And then Macias, very, very minimal here. So while the whole time we're waiting for this top-class signing in attack, just like we got disappointed in the last days of the Berlusconi and Galliani era where they would tell us that a re-signing of a current player we have is like a new signing, I feel like that's a very similar feeling we're having right now, to where we're just getting a very lateral move, and we never got that top-class signing. We never even got a guy like Zaccagni, who maybe he's not top-class, but he could get there, and he's already very good in Serie A. Perfect price, perfect age, perfect versatility. So very frustrating to me personally. I'm very bummed out about our recent choices here, and it does not give me any faith that Elliott actually cares about making this team successful in the future. Now, this is my long-term point here, and I'll wrap up with this. This tells me, and it is a signal that basically says that Elliott management, as I've always thought, is just about making this team good enough to maybe be a consistent Champions League player, but not actually good enough to do anything in it. Not actually good enough to really win the league. We came close for half the season last year, but we really weren't close. They just want to turn a profit. They want to follow a like Dortmund-style model, sell guys off for high and just make a bunch of profit, and that's it. And that's fine for it to be a business. I get it that it is a business, but nobody watches this sport just for the business aspect of it. They want the passion, the players. They want this, right? And another one of my old school points here that I always bring up is there's no more Italians on this team. If you look at the starting lineup, you're going to see Calabria and maybe Tonali. That's rough. That's not AC Milan. And so it's been a real bummer of a transfer market for me. I really, really appreciate the signings of Giroud, of Bakayoko for depth. I don't love it, but it's a good signing. I really love the signing of Mike Maignan, Sandro Tonali, and Fikayo Tomori. So basically those main four, put aside Bakayoko, I think is just good for depth, were great. The rest of the market, terrible. Losing out on the profits from Gigio, Çalhanoğlu, etc., not re-signing Kessie, not re-signing Romagnoli yet, terrible. So I'm not very positive. I think our team has a great unit, and I hope that we do well this season, but I feel like the last 2 weeks of the market have gone very, very badly for us. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think differently or the same, or if you have any other options or people that you would pick up on the last day of the market that we're going to be entering here. And thank you all for your time. Once again, Forza Milan.